Hello everyone, I'm Renowned Zero. We are back again talking about this weird individual here named Grayson, or at Minute Nerd News, who did have pronouns in his bio. He removed them and acted as if he got some kind of win on the quote-unquote chuds because he removed his pronouns from his bio. Meanwhile, he still has Free Palestine on his profile as well, which also makes you look like a slow individual. But he decided to go and make this thread about Gary from Nerdrotic. Very humble dude who is basically the, I guess you would call him the hierarchy of the champion of the culture war, we'll say. And he's been the guy who's been the voice of reason for, again, the culture war. So this guy decides he's going to make this long thread, which originally he did protect it after he got destroyed. He was deleting replies or hiding replies in this thread. But let's check out what he had to say, and let's give my reaction to it. It says, Nerdrotic is a piece of crap that we've allowed to operate amongst us for far too long. You don't get to decide who gets to operate amongst anybody. You're not the arbiter of who gets to speak and who doesn't get to speak. And you want to sit here and say, oh, Gary doesn't like movies that have people of color, even though he likes a Star Trek show with Deep Space Nine, I believe it is. So let's go into your crappy thread here. It says, before I focus my attention solely on this garbage, let us first focus on our attention on the explanation of what it is he and his little grifter friends do. Explained by one of them. This is, of course, Jeremy saying the whole, we take one thing and just make a whole video on it. That's not grifting, bro. That's giving an opinion. But let's listen to it.
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build a narrative out of it. Don't act like that's not what we do.
I don't build a narrative, I give my opinion.
Just like Gary says, he gives his opinion.
Well, we do. You've made the same video on the same topic at least 7 times a week, Ryan. And you're gonna act like we don't do that.
I talk about, yeah, I talk about
says one thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
That's not grifting. That's once again giving an opinion on something that someone said. That's right, folks. They sell you outrage and anger. This is what they do. Meanwhile, you most likely don't watch any of the videos you're complaining about or any of the thumbnails you put together. Yes, you make thumbnails like this so that people will click on the video. That's kind of how YouTube works. Kind of how it works. They make mountains out of molehills to capitalize on an insignificant frustration the target demographic might be feeling. Most likely they are feeling the same exact way Gary feels, because that's why they keep continuing to come back and subscribe and they click on the video. And heighten the issue rather than tame it. No, this won't be news to you. I realize that. Nerdrotic has an obsession with the concept that anyone who isn't straight, white, or male might make an appearance or, God forbid, lead a solo project. Now, that's not the case, considering he's literally wearing a shirt with Rippaverse Comics. He's literally supported an individual by the name of Eric July, who made a solo project in ISOM, who is what? A black character. What Gary brings to light is the fact that they pander to people of color, or black people specifically, with projects showing IPs that are race swapped to kind of get to pander to that audience. Instead of making an original black character like the Rippaverse has, they'll take a character that is white, and race swap them to black and say, oh yeah, here's a character that you might like, you better like, or you're an Istorphobe if you don't like this character, because we intentionally race swapped or gender swapped a character, because that's what we're doing. We're pandering to a certain demographic, or trying to. But of course, he has praise for the MCU, but only when it involves movies where the main protagonist is white, male, and straight. Marvel has only experienced one failure in its entire history, as lackluster as some of the box office was in P4, with 2 movies crossing $1 billion. So now what you're doing is you're not counting for, budgets, marketing, and such. That's where a lot of the money is going. And of course, the theaters take a cut. The theaters do take a cut of every ticket sale, so the companies aren't getting the full value of the tickets. So that's what you're not accounting for. Now, when it comes to straight, white, and male, Gary gives his opinions on movies based on how he feels if the movie is good or not. Just because the character is not straight, white, male doesn't mean he's an Istorphobe because he says the movie is terrible, because those are the types of characters that are starring in the film. He will tell you his opinion, and it's not because of the race of the character or race of the actor. He tells you the movie is good or bad based on the movie either being good or bad in his opinion. It has nothing to do with the race of the person playing the character or the character's race in general. He's just generally racist. So much so that at this point he should honestly just come out and admit that he's a white supreme. Never mind, he's racially charged comments. It's his racially charged comments about Echo. Check this comment out that he jokes won't make it in. Spoilers, it made it in. Oh, let's listen to it, by the way.
What there wasn't a lot of was men. Not sure what happened to all the dudes in Wakanda. Maybe they went off to get a pack of Salems and never came back. Oh, shit. I don't know if I'll keep that one in.
Oh, no. The usual black father left to the store and didn't come back joke. Like a joke that hasn't been used in, I don't know, forever. By comedians, too. Wow. You're just a little boy with a camera and a microphone. Take that away and what are you? Ist, phobic, and more ist. This is supposed to be a play on words when it comes to Civil War, where Captain America asks Iron Man what he is if you take away the suit and all that stuff. He's such a problematic person that his whereabouts on J6 could be brought into question. I bet you wouldn't blink an effing eye. This Elon Musk sack liquor interacts with people currently advocating for a civil disobedience if the election is once again quote-unquote stolen. Because the first one from 2020, that was definitely stolen. And the fact that they're removing the president, like the president stepped down, he's not going to be running for your election. They're inserting Harris is, oof. They have to cheat in order to win at this point. This guy is stuck in a never-ending circle jerk, literally built on the backs of crapping on suppressed voices and oppressed minorities. Yeah, because some of the richest people in the U.S. aren't black. I don't know. Look at Oprah, for example. Denzel Washington is literally going to be in Gladiator 2, which is a movie I believe shouldn't exist because the original was a masterpiece, and the fact that he's even in that movie says a lot because I don't know how a black person existed in Rome, in the city of Rome. If it's not a straight white man, he don't want it. In fact, he'll dedicate his time crapping on it for 2 weeks. I'll leave this thread off with this, and it's directly at you, Nerdrotic, joking about and attempting to further suppress an already suppressed voice is an effing disgusting way to spend your free time. You are a grifter, even though his free time is spent on making money to support his family and lifestyle. It's all you'll ever be. Again, you didn't define grifter. He's not participating in a small swindle. You may have sobered up, and I've seen firsthand how difficult that is, and it must have been for you, but you've relapsed in addiction. You're addicted to hatred and negativity. No. He's addicted to giving his opinion on something he's actually seen, which is literally what anyone online can do. You're addicted to the engagement it brings that furthers your hatred and negativity. And what's worse, you know what you're doing, which means you know the harm it causes. It doesn't cause any harm. Only thing it causes harm to is your pussy. Not just on the people you're crapping on, but the fandom as a whole. We're the ones that have to deal with your fans effing up our vibe. No, we don't. We don't do any of that. You are literally making a thread talking about somebody else messing up your quote-unquote vibe, but you literally didn't have to. You are filth. If I saw you in real life, I'd spit at your feet. Ooh. I genuinely hope you educate yourself, because the way I see it currently, you aren't worth the cloud space they use to keep your videos up. This comment alone encapsulates how garbage you are. F you. After having reservations about Echo, Disney Marvel's moving forward with their big gamble. Bro, there's nothing terrible about this comment. What? P.S. This isn't even the worst of it. I just share what's actually effing digestible. Had to hide a bunch of checkmark replies because they were stacking on top of the thread itself. So no, they haven't been hidden to not be seen. They've been hidden so the thread can be seen. Yeah, I doubt that. Well, it's hilarious that this clip right here would show up. Just imagine, this sums it all up. Shout out to Yuri here.
Be all the only people that are supporting the Rippaverse are the white supremacists, because the thing that white supremacists in their little Klansman hats, the thing that they go around and want to spend money on and talk about is a book on the main cover. The only people on the front of it are black. That's what white supremacists are known for doing. They love doing stuff like that. They sit around, burn steaks and crosses and in these round tables with their hoods, and the one thing that they love to do is go support the work of things that have a bunch of black people on the front of it. That's what they love to do. We're dealing with mental retardation. Be all.
So yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with here is that thank you for calling out Gary. I'm getting great views from this tweet. You sound vaccinated, boosted, and jealous. Too much of a coward to tag Nerdrotic. I mean, he did. He's a great guy. Jealousy isn't becoming. I had a great time hosting Nerdrotic and some other great folks at my party and my booth at Comic-Con. Gary's a great guy. He's an advocate for fans and the pop culture they cherish. My advice, Grayson, do a push-up. You sound very low T. Woman here, I'm Persian. I had the pleasure of working with Gary, aka Nerdrotic, for a show called The Real BBC. We parted ways, but he was always professional and a Salem guy. Was never rude to me or misogynistic in any way. Never in any of the time we talked behind the scenes was he ist or anything. So even when the quote cameras were off, he was professional and nice to me. Gary is just a passionate comic book nerd that loves good stories and is passionate about the trash state of so many of the things we love. He's an American with a voice, and he chooses to use that voice as a beacon for others who see the same things he's seeing with regards to entertainment. You can call that a quote-unquote grift or whatever. That's another issue altogether, because guess what? People got to pay the bills, and if something works, it works. So making 20 videos on why the Acolyte is terrible is paying his bills. So what? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Maybe this post will get you a whole 1K followers, basically famous. Too bad Gary is going to keep kicking ass and making good content that people relate to because people are tired of consuming, which is interesting because he actually did reach over 1,000 followers, and one of those followers is EVS, of course. So anybody crapping all over Nerdrotic, of course, EVS will follow them because that's kind of the whole thing. And of course, it got 4.7 million views, which is interesting as well, how that happened. So at the end of the day, this guy is dumb. This guy doesn't know anything about what Gary actually does. It's just another one of those weirdos online that just claim to know things about another individual who's been working hard and busting their ass to support their family after going through such a terrible, upbringing. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers. If you do like this video, hit that like button, comment below what you feel about all this, subscribe for more content, hit the bell for notifications, set the bell to all, that way you'll get a notification anytime I post a new video or live stream, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.